Hello, this is a briefing for Subtropical Storm Alberto, brought to you by the National Weather Service office in Jackson at 3:30 p.m. Saturday, May 26th. The Hurricane Center this afternoon has found a tighter center of circulation off the western tip of Cuba, entering in the southern Gulf of Mexico. The storm is called Subtropical Storm Alberto because it's wrapped up in an upper level area of low pressure. Generally, those situations will keep a storm from strengthening really quickly and also provide a little uncertainty to the track forecast. That's why the consensus track forecast has continued to shift a little east of what it was yesterday. And now the consensus has it making landfall along the Alabama and western Florida panhandle coast, which would be much less of a problem for our area. However, it's important to keep in mind the cone of uncertainty still extends back to the Mississippi coast, and with some slight possibility, the remnant center could track up into Mississippi. If that happens, then we would still have some concerns with heavy rainfall, as mentioned previously. But with the consensus track forecast shifting east, the likelihood of problems is decreasing a lot. So right now, we're mainly focused on rainfall and flooding associated with this system, and we're showing an elevated risk of flooding. That's primarily going to be focused in far southeastern Mississippi along the I-59 corridor. We're showing the forecast confidence as low because if this track consensus continues to shift east, then there may not be much of a threat beyond limited threat in far eastern Mississippi. And there's also the possibility, the lower possibility, that the track could shift back to the west and bring some of those higher totals we were previously forecasting back into play, but that's only a real slight chance of that. So right now we're forecasting a limited threat of flooding up to the I-55 corridor in Mississippi, like I said, with that higher elevated threat focused along the I-59 corridor. That limited threat is mainly for the low possibility that track may shift back to the west. So the collaborated rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center and the local offices show the axis of highest rainfall going up the I-65 corridor in Alabama, with amounts only up to 1.5 to 2 inches across eastern Mississippi. And if it occurs this way, then the flooding threat won't be will definitely be focused more in Alabama, and will only be kind of a limited threat in eastern Mississippi. So the wind speeds were never the big concern with this system, as if it's only a tropical storm, most of the winds will tend to die off quickly as the center comes north of the coast. At this point, it's only a slight chance there could be some sustained tropical storm force wind speeds into the I-59 corridor in southeastern Mississippi, although some rain bands as they come in tomorrow and into Monday, there could be some brief gusts up to that high.